As we pay tribute to the remarkable legacy and character of our 41st President George H.W. Bush, we decided to talk with David Valdez and with Eric Draper. Now, David was the official White House photographer for Bush41 and Eric for Bush43. So from public to private, these two photographers capture the intimate behind-the-scenes moments of triumph, tragedy, joy, and loss. News 10 editors Don Smith and James Ward take a look.
I was with them for so many years, even during the vice presidency, and you know, I could see that their faith coming out, their family being the most important thing, and their friends. You know, people like Eric and I, who were, it was our job to physically be there. You would kind of get pulled into some of that stuff and, you know, have meals with them or see him laugh or see him cry. And you know, I saw him win an election, I saw him lose an election. But the family support, I think, was probably one of the most important things, but also their faith.
The humor that they shared together was always fun to watch. You know, anytime I experienced, for example, his father and Barbara Bush together, they were so fun to watch. I mean, it's almost like a running sitcom when they were together. I mean, you can tell that they shared a love and a bond that was so complete and so long that they can almost say anything to each other in a loving way. I love to watch them.
I, George Walker Bush, do solemnly swear.
President Bush 41, when George W. was sworn in, standing next to him, cried tears of pride and joy. And you know, that was showing how proud he was of his son for having become President of the United States.
Well, you can tell whenever he would talk about his parents, he would always share his thoughts about their unconditional love for him. And it would always make him tear up, I mean, because they're really a close, tight family. And you can tell that his parents are very proud of the fact that, you know, he was a governor, now president, following in his footsteps. Going back to his first day, his first moments in office, when, for example, the image of him sitting at the resident desk for the first time, and his father's walked in behind him to share that experience with him, and that was a powerful moment. I remember President Bush 43 said, "Mr. President," and then his father said, "Mr. President," you know, and it was really a really warm moment to watch and to observe, and historic. You know, the two presidents together, they had what I observed, a very traditional relationship. And he would sit down for lunch, and he would say, "Well, son, what did you do today?" He says, "Well, Dad, I just got off the phone with the president of Russia." You know, just, you know, typical. That would be their typical exchange. But you can tell that they really shared a bond, not only as father and son, but as knowing what his son was going through. And I think that was probably hard for him at the same time, watching, you know, the criticism that a president takes.
I remember when we were up in Kennebunkport with him, he was Mr. Energizer. We would start off the morning with a jog with the media, and come back from that, and then go play 18 holes of golf, and then come back from that and go boating or fishing. I think he's going to go down as one of the greats. When you look at his lifetime achievements, all the stuff that he did getting to become president, and then, you know, it happened under his watch, but, you know, the fall of communism, the Berlin Wall coming down, you know, signing the American for Disabilities Act.
Just 2 hours ago, Allied air forces began an attack on military targets in Iraq and Kuwait.
Successful accomplishments in the first Gulf War. There were a lot of things that were good in that short amount of time that he was president.
We really admire and love George H.W. Bush.
The most important thing to him was his family. And he always, I heard him say many times, the most important thing is that my family still comes home.